is one of the most eerie and perplexing legends to come from the mist-covered countryside of Suffolk, England. In the 12th century, during the reign of King Stephen, two strange children, brother and sister, appeared seemingly out of nowhere, emerging from a mysterious, dark pit in the earth near the village of Woolpit. What was most disturbing about these children wasn't just their sudden appearance, but their unnatural green skin, which glowed with a sickly hue, as if they were creatures from another world. The villagers, struck by both curiosity and fear, took the children in. The pair spoke in a language no one could understand and refused to eat anything until they were finally coaxed into consuming regular food. Strangely, they would only eat beans, nothing else. As the days passed, the children's skin slowly lost its eerie green tint, but their true origin remained a mystery. Some believed the children were from an alternate, hidden world, trapped between realms, while others whispered that they were the victims of some dark magic. The girl, once healthy, eventually died, but the boy grew into adulthood and revealed that they had come from a land called St. Martin's Land, a place of eternal twilight where everything and everyone was green. To this day, no one knows where the children truly came from or what happened to them, but the green children of Woolpit remain a chilling reminder that some things are better left unexplored, hidden in the dark folds of the earth, waiting to be unearthed. The Dover Demon is a chilling legend that has haunted the small town of Dover, Massachusetts, since the spring of 1977. Over the course of 2 terrifying nights, 3 separate witnesses claimed to encounter a creature so otherworldly, its image has burned itself into local lore forever. The first sighting occurred on April 21st, when 17-year-old William Bartlett was driving down a dark, deserted road. As his headlights pierced the night, they illuminated something that shouldn't exist. Perched on a low stone wall was a creature with skin the color of pale, sickly flesh, stretched taut over was grotesquely round, with glowing orange eyes that burned like smoldering embers. It had no nose, no mouth, just an empty, silent stare that seemed to bore into his very soul. The second encounter happened just hours later. John Baxter, walking home through a wooded path, was startled by a grotesque silhouette in the shadows. The figure moved with a jerking, unnatural gait, its limbs impossibly long and frail. It followed him, closing the distance without a sound, before vanishing into the dark forest. Baxter swore its glowing eyes never wavered from him. The final sighting came from Abby Brabham the next evening. She described a gangly, otherworldly creature crouched near a stream, its elongated fingers clutching at the earth, as if searching for something, its gaze locked on her, those unblinking, fiery eyes paralyzing her with an unnatural dread. No tracks, no evidence, no explanation was ever found. Skeptics called it a hoax, but those who saw it still tremble when they recall its stare. Some whisper the creature wasn't of this world, while others fear it still lurks in Dover's shadowy woods, watching, waiting. The Dover demon remains an enigma, a sinister reminder that the unknown might be closer than we think, and it's always watching from the dark. Dudleytown, once a thriving settlement nestled deep in the eerie forests of Connecticut, is now a desolate, forsaken ghost town, its very name whispered in fear. The town's dark history is shrouded in mystery, cursed by the tragic fate of its residents. It is said that the Dudley family, cursed by a mysterious ancestral curse, brought ruin to the years passed. Strange deaths, disappearances, and unexplainable horrors plagued the settlers, and one by one, the people of Dudley Town vanished, leaving behind only silence and the creak of rotting wood. Now the crumbling remains of Dudley Town are a place to be avoided at all costs. Those who dare to step foot on its cursed soil report hearing faint whispers, the distant sound of footsteps where no one walks, and an overwhelming, suffocating dread. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures flitting between the decaying buildings, their hollow eyes following any intruder. The air itself feels thick with the lingering presence of something malevolent, something that refuses to let the town's dark past die. Vandals and thrill seekers have tried to enter, but many leave with their minds shattered, or worse, never to return. Dudley Town is not just abandoned, it is haunted by the restless spirits of the past, forever trapped in its desolate ruins, waiting for the next soul to wander into their grasp. The elevator game is a sinister ritual whispered among the daring and the doomed, a game that promises entry to an alternate world, but at an unspeakable cost. Born from the depths of the internet in 2008 on the Japanese site 2channel, this legend has lured thrill seekers into its dark embrace with promises of forbidden knowledge and spine-chilling danger. The instructions are deceptively simple. Enter an empty building with at least 10 floors and ride the elevator alone, following a specific, eerie sequence of floors. As you ascend, the air becomes heavy, and an unnatural silence seeps into the confined space. On the 5th floor, the true test begins. A woman, pale, lifeless, with eyes that seem to pierce your soul, might enter the elevator. She will not speak, but she will watch. Do not look at her. Do not acknowledge her. She is not human. If you complete the sequence, you'll find yourself in another world. The building will feel cold, suffocating. The lights will flicker dimly, revealing an empty, desolate city outside. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures distance, their movements slow and deliberate, watching your every move. But the warnings are clear. Many who play never return, lost to the sinister otherworld they dared to enter. Van Death is a terrifying urban legend that has haunted South Korea for nearly a century. The myth claims that sleeping in a closed, windowless room with an electric fan running can lead to a horrifying and sudden death. The chilling idea is that the fan's cold breeze, combined with the still air, will suffocate the person or cause their body temperature to plummet, leading to fatal asphyxiation. Some versions say the fan creates a vacuum, draining the oxygen from the room, leaving the sleeper to suffocate in their own bed. The origins of this grim tale date back to the 1920s and 1930s, a time when South Korea was gripped by superstition and fear. Since then, the legend has persisted, warning people to never sleep with a fan on in a closed room. Even in modern times, the myth holds sway. In 2011, the Korea Herald reported the death of a 59-year-old man found lifeless with a fan pointed directly at him, reinforcing the chilling idea that the fan had taken his life. Though skeptics dismiss the phenomenon as a mere myth, the fear of fan death remains very real to many. To this day, warnings against the practice are printed on many fans sold in South Korea, a constant reminder that some dangers are said to lurk in the seemingly innocent hum of an electric fan. On the evening of September 20th, 1965, the quiet town of Felixstowe, England, became the site of a terrifying encounter with something otherworldly. It was a crisp night when residents witnessed an extraordinary phenomenon that defied explanation. Something that would forever haunt the town's history. The air grew thick, and a strange, unnatural glow lit up the sky. What they saw that night was like nothing anyone had ever seen before. A fire demon, an immense fiery entity, descended from the dark sky. Its flames blazed with an intensity so fierce they cast a hellish red hue streets into a fiery labyrinth. The creature moved with eerie fluidity, its form shifting and writhing as it hovered above the ground. Witnesses described it as a massive, burning figure, its eyes glowing with an infernal light, its presence suffocating and oppressive. Panic spread through the town as the demon floated above, casting a shadow over Felix Stowe that seemed to drain all warmth from the air. The heat from its flames was unbearable, yet it did not scorch the earth beneath it. And then, as suddenly as it appeared, the fire demon vanished, leaving the townspeople paralyzed with fear and confusion. To this day, no explanation has been found for the sighting. Some say it was a visit from beings beyond the stars. Others claim it was something much darker. But those who saw it never forgot the horror of that night. The night Felix Stowe was touched by the flames of something far more terrifying than fire then. The 27 Club is a chilling urban legend that has gripped the imaginations of music fans and mystics alike. A macabre pattern woven into the lives of some of the world's brightest stars. It is said that a disturbing number of celebrated musicians and artists, those who reach the peak of their creative power, meet their end at the age of 7, as if some dark force claims them before they can fully realize their potential. Brian Jones, Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse, and Jean-Michel Basquiat, each of them brilliant and tragic in their own right, died at this cursed age, their lives snuffed out in ways as mysterious as they were haunting. Some say it's a cruel twist of fate. Others whisper that a sinister force, something beyond mere coincidence, pulls these gifted souls into the abyss. Despite studies debunking the statistical spike of musician deaths at 27, the legend persists, some things are too powerful to be explained. An eerie mark, a final note that echoes through history, far too chilling to ignore. The 99 phone charging myth is a chilling urban legend that has circulated through the darker corners of the internet, preying on the curious and the desperate. The tale goes like this. If you dial the emergency number 999, the UK's emergency service number, then abruptly hang up before speaking to anyone, your phone's battery will mysteriously begin to charge itself, even if it's dead. At first, it sounds harmless, maybe even a little absurd, but for those desperate in their time of need, stuck in the middle of nowhere with no power, no signal, and no hope, the temptation is irresistible. They say the process doesn't just work, it works too well. Phones that were drained to nothing spring to life with a terrifying energy, buzzing with life as if some dark force is feeding it from beyond. But the myth is more sinister than it seems. What happens when you dial that number waiting for the unknown to respond, and something answers? Who or what is really charging your phone in the dead of night? The legend warns, be careful what you call, for some connections are more than just a lifeline. They're a doorway to something far darker. The 1962 Halloween massacre is a haunting legend that chills the soul. Shrouded in mystery and darkness, the story revolves around a single horrifying photograph taken at a seemingly innocent Halloween costume party. The photo, which has circulated through the years, shows a group of people laughing and dancing, unaware unspeakable horror that would soon unfold. According to the legend, what the photo doesn't show is the bloodbath that followed. The guests, 7 in total, were allegedly slaughtered that night, their bodies mutilated beyond recognition. Some say the killer was hiding among them, cloaked in costume, blending into the revelry. The massacre, though, was too brutal, too grotesque for anyone to believe. Whispers claim that the killer was never caught, and that the picture itself holds a dark secret, a silent witness to the horror. The photograph is said to be cursed. Anyone who looks too long at it, or even dares to search for it, may feel an overwhelming sense of dread, as though the spirits of the victims are watching, waiting for justice. To this day, no one knows the full truth behind the 1962 Halloween massacre, and perhaps it's better that way. Some horrors are best left in the dark. The legend of the Frozen Hill people is one of the most chilling tales to emerge from the snow-covered hills of Bridgewater Corners, Vermont. It dates back to December 21st, 1887, when a poor farming family, isolated by the unforgiving wilderness, disappeared into the bleak winter landscape. Struggling with poverty, the family was forced to endure harsh, unrelenting winters in their humble cabin. But on that fateful winter night, a mysterious cold swept through the hills, colder than anything anyone had ever experienced. Neighbors in nearby settlements spoke of hearing strange, bone-chilling howls in the dead of night, and thick, unnatural fog rolling down from the mountains. When a search party finally made its way to the family's cabin, they found something unimaginable. The family, father, mother, and children, were discovered frozen, their bodies eerily preserved in time, as if the cold had stolen their very souls. But it wasn't just the unnatural frost that unnerved the rescuers. It was their faces. The frozen expressions of horror etched into their features seemed to suggest something far worse had happened before their bodies succumbed to the cold. Their eyes were wide open, locked in a silent scream. Some say the family never died, but were trapped is one of the most chilling urban legends in America, a place where the veil between the living and the damned is said to grow thin. Located in the desolate Stull Cemetery in Kansas, the story tells of an ancient, crumbling church that once stood at the edge of the cemetery until it mysteriously collapsed. But even after its destruction, the legend remained, for beneath the rubble was a set of stairs leading into an abyss that was never meant to be uncovered. On Halloween night and during the spring equinox, it is said that the stairs, cloaked in darkness, become a gateway to the other side. Those brave or foolish enough to descend are said to hear whispers from beyond the grave, as if something or someone is calling from the depths of hell itself. The air grows thick, suffocating with an unnatural chill, as if the very ground beneath your feet is pulsing with dark energy. Locals speak of shadows that move on their own, fleeting glimpses of figures watching from the tree line, and an overwhelming sense of dread that grips anyone who dares approach. They say the devil himself walks the grounds of Stull Cemetery, waiting for the next soul to step into the gateway to hell, never to return. And on those cursed nights, the gates are wide open, inviting the lost into the eternal dark. The Ghost Boy of Clinton Road is one of the most unsettling urban legends, set in the eerie, desolate stretches of Clinton Road in New Jersey. The legend tells of a boy, young and innocent, whose life was tragically cut short near an old, crumbling bridge that spans the dark waters below. Since his death, he is said to haunt the bridge, waiting for the living to come and play his haunting game. Those brave or foolish enough to stop at the bridge and toss a coin into the murky water below might find themselves in the grip of something truly supernatural. As the coin sinks into the dark abyss, the legend claims that the ghostly boy, his presence barely more than a shadow in the dim light, will return the coin to you. But it isn't just the coin that's returned. There's something more chilling about the encounter. As you wait in the silence, the temperature drops, and you may feel a cold hand brush against your own. The touch of the boy reaching next moments. Others whisper that his return of the coins is a dark invitation, an omen that something more sinister waits in the shadows, watching and waiting for the next visitor. The Ghost Boy of Clinton Road is not just a tale to be told, it's a warning. If you ever find yourself standing near the bridge, don't throw the coin, because if he comes back to return,